strings attached. It starts as a quirky romance, but it does turn into something much darker. Yeah, absolutely. I think I should pass on to you because you know a lot more about the origin of the play.
So it was something that I was particularly interested in. I've done workshops before about coercive control and consent in relationships, and it was something that I was still really interested in doing. And then when we came together, we sort of coming up with themes, and this was a reoccurring theme that we were like, this is something that we're quite passionate about, definitely me. And I wanted to also show a sort of physical theatre side because I love movement and all that sort of stuff. We just got sort of spitballed ideas and we're like, how can we do this? What can we come up with? And so we are doing this. There's a puppet throughout, and that's where all the sort of physical theatre elements come from.
Characters in this two-hander. There's only 2 actors and 1 puppet, and that is played brilliantly by Hannah, who also plays the protagonist, human Frankie, as well. So it's a dual performance from Hannah. I play Rufus, the Marionette Puppeteer, the love interest of Frankie, and of course the puppet's owner in a lot of ways. Yeah.
So is it just a little team of 2? Is it just you guys?
Yeah, it is. We've one of our flatmates, Joe, has been incredible. He's done a lot of like our social media for us, and he's going to help with the tech, but ultimately it has just kind of been us together coming up with ideas, and yeah, it's been a really sort of creative experience, but it can be quite difficult, but we've worked well together.
Well, that's where the best Fringe comes from, though, isn't it? It's that feeling of, I want to do something, I want to be on stage, I want to perform, and this is an idea I'm passionate about. Where can we go with this? And then you've just got 2 of you, maybe 3, batting these ideas off each other. Sounds like the ideal kind of rehearsal space.
I think in rehearsal sometimes, and this is a compliment to Hannah, I forget that there's only 2 of us. It does sometimes feel like there's 3 of us, because this performance as the puppet is worth coming for alone, to be honest. There are moments where I'm like, oh yes, so when the puppet's there, what are you going to be doing? And I'm like, oh no, yep, you are both, so we can't do that. But that's been a really interesting creative process, and this is the first play we've ever co-written together. Like I say, I was in Josh's play last year, learned so much from the master of himself. He won the Writing for Stage Award last year at the GM Fringe Awards, so I got a glimpse of that. But to have written this together, it's been such a collaborative process.
What was the process like? How did you go about creating the work? Was it kind of getting in the room and just trialling things out and improvising, or did you kind of start writing first and then build from there?
Yeah, we sort of came up with a list of sort of like strengths and kind of weaknesses and stuff we didn't want to add and stuff we did. And the list obviously got a little bit shorter, and we're like, okay, so we want something physical. George is a really good comedic actor, but he wanted to challenge himself and do something a bit different. So we're like, okay, let's go with these themes. And once we got the idea of doing like coercive control within relationships, we realised that we wanted to really do our research and really understand this, because we didn't want to put something on that was sort of offensive in any way or just took away from how important this concept is. So we've reached out to some professionals, we've had interviews with people, we've tried to really sort of understand it and get a real sense of it, and that's been throughout our research and throughout our rehearsal process as well.
Yeah, we've relied at times on improvisation in the rehearsal room. We're not trained writers, and we're not going to pretend to be that. What we have done is taken those lived experiences from those really brave people who've opened up to us, but then found those to be elements in the play and then improvised around that, particularly with the physical element of it, going with how you're feeling, how the music's affecting us, and also, of course, with it being marionette puppetry, really you are going with whatever I offer you, so it's kind of working together on that. A lot of it is instinct, really.
It's a fantastic tool, that the idea of having this puppet, because obviously it immediately stands out as, of course, if there's going to be control in a relationship and this imagery of having a puppet, that immediately stands out. But as an audience as well, taking the audience on a journey that's maybe quite intense and discussing things that are maybe quite difficult to discuss in a sensitive way, having that element that actually is a little bit surreal can sometimes be a good protective boundary of detachment. Was that an intentional choice, or is that a happy accident? I
think I'd like to say it was intentional, but I think probably we didn't realise how much it was going to sort of affect it. Because that's the thing. It can feel so heavy and so dark, and we don't want to sort of upset or distress. We do want to raise awareness, and that's half the reason why we're doing it. There is this sort of surreal element of the puppet which just kind of brings you out of that for a second, and then you're straight back in. But yeah, we sort of did develop that, and it's become what it is now, and yeah.
And that feeling of coercive control, the more research we've done, the more we understand. It is so complex, it's hard to define, it's invisible, often very hard to see, which obviously lends itself well to the strings of a marionette, which is often something you're like, I don't really know what I'm looking at here, how is this working? But you're right, of course, this is a piece of theatre, and we do want to get these important issues across and raise awareness. But the worst thing to do would be to create a piece of boring theatre that no one's going to want to sit and watch. We do still have to do our job, which is our training and our background, which is entertain and immerse people into this story. And I think we're doing justice, hopefully, that's the plan anyway, to these people with lived experiences by doing that. And many of them are coming, and we're so proud that they're brave enough to come and see this, because they want to spend their Thursday or Friday evening in the theatre at the King's Arms watching this with us.